Reality television has always been searching for the next idea. We have watched strangers get married after meeting for the first time. We have watched people date without seeing each other. We have watched contestants compete for love, money, fame, and sometimes just the chance to become internet's next meme. But then TLC created MILF Manor, a dating show built around one question: what happens when older women looking for love are placed in a mansion with younger men? I don't know what's gonna happen, you know? And just when viewers thought the concept could not get any crazier, season 2 added the ultimate twist. The younger men didn't come alone, they brought their fathers. That's right, season 2 of MILF Manor became a dating competition where mothers were not only deciding between younger men and older men, they were deciding between sons and their fathers. A concept so strange that it sounds like a joke someone made online, but TLC actually filmed it. And beforehand, I already made a first video about the first season of the show because I ended up watching it at some point and all of that, and that show was absolutely insane, literally from the get-go, from season 1. So go check out that video beforehand before you watch this one, but if you don't, go for it. Oh, and before that, don't forget your boy, like this video, subscribe to the channel for more interesting videos just like this, and let me know down in the comments below what's the spiciest show you know. Let me know, that way we can talk about it. On that note, let's go, because today we are breaking down everything about MILF Manor season 2. Who were the women? Who were the sons? Who were the fathers? What were the rules? What were the games? What were the best moments? What were the most uncomfortable moments? Which relationships actually worked? And the biggest question of it all was, creating a show like this a good idea, or did reality TV finally go a little bit too far, you know? Because just like I said, from season 1, from everything we saw in season 1, when they introduced, you know, all the women that they had over there, and then they introduced the men, and the men actually turned out to be their own sons that they mixed in there, and now the sons had to go for their mother's friends and all of that. It was absolutely insane to see some of the stuff that we saw throughout that season, and that's why season 2 is just as crazy as season 1 was. And so what is MILF Manor? MILF Manor is a TLC reality dating series where single mothers enter a luxury vacation location hoping to find romance. The original idea was already controversial. Older women would date younger men and challenge traditional ideas about age, attraction, and relationships. The show's message was simple: being older does not mean someone stops wanting romance, excitement, adventure, love, anything, you know. But season 2 changed everything. Instead of only bringing in younger men, producers introduced a twist. The contestants arrived as father-son pairs, and the women expected a dating experience with younger men, and instead they found themselves in a mansion with both generations competing for their attentions. I know, insane, but hey, let's go for it. The result was part dating show, part social experiments, and part chaos, complete chaos, everywhere chaos, you know. Now let's talk about the women in MILF Manor season 2. The women entered the show looking for different things. Some wanted excitement, some wanted companionship, some wanted to prove that age does not define attraction, and some just kinda wanted it you know. First, let's talk about Barbie. Barbie quickly became one of the biggest personalities of the season. She was confident, outspoken, and not afraid to say what she was thinking. Reality shows need strong personalities because they create conflict, conversations, and memorable moments. Barbie was one of those contestants, and if there was tension in the house, there was a good chance Barbie was involved. Barbie was a problem from day one. Watch out for Barbie. Then then second, we've got Christina. Christina became one of the central storyline of the season. She developed a connection with Joey, one of the younger men. But then the twist changed everything. Joey's father, Anthony, entered the competition and suddenly Christina was placed in the most complicated situation of the entire show. Was she attracted to Joey, or did she connect more with his father? Her storyline became the perfect example of what made MILF Manor both fascinating and controversial. Now, let's talk about Crystal, because Crystal brought a more emotional side to the show. While the series focused heavily on attraction and competition, Crystal's storyline showed the more serious side of dating later in life. Oh, and let's not forget about Kelly as well, because Kelly challenged one of the biggest assumptions behind the show, the idea that romance and attraction are only for younger people. Her presence showed that confidence and personality can matter just as much as age. And now, let's not forget about Shauna, Paula, Jamie, and Lynette. The rest of the cast helped create the friendships, disagreements, and house drama that kept the season moving. Like most reality TV shows, the relationships were only part of the entertainment, and the real drama came from the personalities living together. Now, with all of that, let's talk about the men of MILF Manor Season 2. The biggest twist was the father-son competition. 5 father-son pairs entered the mansion. And first, let's start with Chris and Michael. Chris was 27-year-old and known for his athletic background as an MMA fighter. He represented the younger generation, meaning energy, confidence, and excitement. While Michael was 51 years old and brought the experience of someone who had lived more life. Their dynamic represented one of the biggest questions of the season. Does youth win or does experience? Now, we've also got Jacob and Ashley. Jacob was 23 and he brought a younger, playful personality about him. Ashley was 54 and had a completely different approach. Their storyline highlighted the contrast between youthful joy and mature confidence. And let's not forget about Joey and Anthony, because Joey was one of the youngest contestants. He quickly became involved in one of the biggest storylines of the seasons because of his connection with Christina. While for his dad, Anthony was, Joey's father, and his arrival changed the entire situation. The show went from a normal age gap dating experiment into a father versus son competition. And you also have Miles and Stacy. Miles was 24 and known as a vegan chef, while Stacy brought more life experience into the competition. Their relationship represented another example of the generational contrast that defined the season. And let's not forget about Sam and Darren. Sam represented again the younger contestants and all of that, while Darren represented the older generation, and together they continued the show's central experiment: can attraction overcome age? And what about the rules of this whole show, because the rules were simple. The woman dates, the men compete, the strongest connections survive. But the twist created the real drama. A woman choosing a son could affect his father. A woman choosing a father could affect his son. The show was designed around uncomfortable decisions, and that discomfort was the entire point. Now, let's go a little bit show by show and let's try and break down a little bit what happened throughout the show, because oh boy. And let's start with episode 1, the big reveal. The season begins with the women arriving at the mansion expecting to meet younger men. Everything seems normal. They flirt, meet the contestants, and start forming first impressions. Then comes the twist. The fathers arrive. The entire atmosphere changes. The women realize this is not gonna be a normal dating show, and the biggest moment of the episode is easily the reveal, and it immediately tells the viewers this season is going to be different. And the best part, the shock factor. The worst part, some viewers immediately questioned whether the concept was more interested in controversy than romance at that point, you know? And then by episode 2, the father-son competition actually starts. The contestants participate in challenges designed to test attraction and chemistry. One of the most talked about moments involves a performance competition where fathers and sons compete for attention, and this episode perfectly represents the entire show. Some people found it hilarious, others found it extremely uncomfortable, and then by episode 3 the real feelings started to actually develop, and the contestants began realizing that this is no longer just a strange experiment. People are actually developing feelings. Barbie's relationship becomes more complicated. Christina's connection with Joey becomes more important. The show starts shifting from a gimmick into a traditional reality dating drama. And then by episode 4, let's go. The conflict starts. Secrets and relationship problems begin creating tension. The biggest lesson, the father-son twist might have been a little too much. But jealousy, insecurity, and emotions are what create reality TV drama. And then through episode 5 to 8, the experiment actually gets serious. And as the seasons continue, the novelty begins to wear off a little bit. The contestants are no longer just laughing about the situation, they literally have a real decision to make. And the biggest storyline continues to be Christina, Joey, and Anthony. The question becomes, is chemistry stronger than age, or does maturity eventually become more attractive? The father-son dynamic becomes the most interesting part of the show. The sons have youth, the fathers have experience. Both sides have advantages. And by episodes 9 and 10, we are like, hey, can these relationships actually survive? Because I don't know. And as the finale approaches, the contestants have to think about dimension. Reality TV creates an unusual environment and people are isolated. They receive constant attention. Every emotion is amplified. The real test is whether these relationships can survive normal life. Then by episodes 11 and 12, the final episodes focus on decisions. And spoiler alerts, if you don't want to get spoiled, this is your moment. But if you don't care, let's go for it. Were these genuine connections, or were they created because everyone was trapped inside a reality show bubble? The season ends with viewers still debating the same questions. Was this a meaningful experience or just another example of reality TV chasing shock value? And for all of these questions, let me know down in the comments below. What do you think? And let me know about your opinions about all of these questions. And before that, let's talk about some of the best moments of that show. First, we've got the father reveal. The biggest moment of the season. Nobody expected the twist, and it instantly made the show one of the strangest dating concepts on television. Then second, the fathers versus sons dynamic. The show accidentally created an interesting look at two generations competing for love. The fathers and sons had completely different strengths. Then third, the emotional conversations. The best scenes were not always the shocking ones. The strongest moments were when contestants talked honestly about aging, confidence, loneliness, starting over, wanting companionship. And then fourth, the cast personalities. Reality TV succeeds because viewers connect with personalities, and the cast created the drama, humor, and arguments that made the season memorable. And now let's talk about the worst moments of the season 2 of MILF Manor. Because one, the concept itself. The biggest criticism is that the show uses family relationships as entertainment, and for many viewers that crossed the line. To shock over substance. The father-son twist was so outrageous that sometimes it overshadowed the actual people. The audience talked more about the idea than the relationships. Third, emotional manipulation. Reality TV often creates intense situations, and MILF Manor amplified that by placing romance and family competition together. And so for my final question, was MILF Manor a good idea again? again. So, and after everything, was this show actually a good idea? The answer depends on what you believe reality TV show should be and why people defend the show. Even the show challenges stereotypes. It shows that older adults still want romance, excitement, and connection. It gives visibility to people who are often ignored in dating shows, and everyone involved chose to participate. And so why do people choose to criticize? The father-son twist exists mainly because it creates discomfort, and some viewers feel the show crosses boundaries by turning family relationships into a romantic competition, and others believe it focuses too much on shock value, you know? And for my final verdict on this one, I would tell you that MILF Manor Season 2 is one of the strangest reality experience ever created. It is funny, it is uncomfortable, it is ridiculous, it's fascinating, and that combination is exactly why people watched. Is it a good idea? Maybe, but if the goal is to challenge stereotypes and create conversations, then it succeeded. But if the goal is to create meaningful relationships, the gimmick may have been too powerful, because in the end, MILF Manor was not only asking, can love happen across generations? It was asking something bigger. How far will reality television go to keep people watching? And judging by the fact that we are still talking about it, the answer might be pretty far. And so, what did you think? Let me know in the comments below. Was MILF Manor Season 2 an entertainment experiment that broke dating stereotypes, or was it reality TV taking things too far? Let me know down in the comments below, and don't forget your boy, subscribe for more deep dives just like this, and don't forget your boy on the other channels, go check them out, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.